back again. So in this slide, I'm going to be discussing the Mackenzie Shirilla case as well as the Elena Moore case. I was just going live, but got told there was no sound, so hopefully we fixed that problem. But yes, I wanted to talk about the Mackenzie Shirilla case, how the Ohio Supreme Court denied her request for a new trial. So Mackenzie Shirilla will not be getting a new trial. And I think most people saw that coming. Most people. Unless you're related to Mackenzie. Maybe you didn't then. But besides that, I would say 99% of people realized, yeah, she was guilty. She knew what she did. And I just want to state that this is just my opinion. Everything is alleged, and everyone we discuss is innocent until proven guilty. And I believe that when Mackenzie drove that car into that wall, or I should say, tried to unalive both passengers and herself by crashing into that wall, I believe she was trying to end her own life in that situation. But God works in mysterious ways. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because, it's a tragic situation, but regardless, the fact that she lived and the other two passed away, rest in peace, is quite interesting to me, because I believe in that moment she was trying to unalive herself. I think that's what was on her mind at that time. And ultimately, she ended up living, and the two with her ended up passing away. And now she has to do her time. And like I said, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Now she's alive, doing her time. They make it sound like where she's at is just, a party, right? But it's not. No matter where you're at in jail, it's going to suck, right? Doesn't even matter if you're in the most cushioned jail in the world. It's still going to suck. It's still going to hurt to sit down. No pun intended. Oh, man. But, all jokes aside, that's a situation that I didn't think she thought any of it through. And then, boom, you hit that wall, you crash, and ultimately, this is what happens, Yet now she has to serve her time. What's up, Andrew? Welcome in. Nice to see you today. Hope you're doing good. What's going on, Rabira? What's going on? Nice to see you. What's up, Jerry? Nice to see you guys today. Hope everyone's doing good. Today, we're talking about the Mackenzie Shirilla case, and also I'm going to get into the Elena Moore case a little bit. What up, Foxy? What's going on, guys? I hope everyone's doing good today. Yeah, you think everyone just joined the stream, Andrew? Yep, everyone just joined at once. It was like, boom. Now we're all here together. So what's up, guys? What's going on? Nice to see everyone today. Yeah, the Mackenzie Shirilla case, I know people have saw the Netflix documentary. People have looked at everything going on in the case, whether it's the notes, the footnotes, all of the jail phone calls. I mean, people are so invested in this case. It's strange, but at the same time, I get it, because this case has taken on a life of its own. Interesting, isn't it? How a case can take on a life of its own, and yet she took 2 lives on her own. Well, I should say with the help of a car. Messed up to me. It's very messed up. What up, Frank? Oh, sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate that. What up, Fatima? What's going on? Nice to see everyone today. Hope everyone's doing good. And for anybody that knows this case, she went right into that wall. There was no brakes. There was no checking her brakes. She went as fast as she could and destroyed everything. And in that moment, like I said, I believe she was trying to take her own life. Do I think she was thinking of taking the 2 other lives? Maybe, maybe not, right? But I know at that time, I believe she was thinking of taking her own life, and she ended up living. And now she kind of has to suffer, and like I said, they make it sound like it's this just party all the time in that jail, but it's not, guys. No matter where you're at in jail, it's gonna suck. Jerry, how are you? Excuse me. I'm doing pretty good, just chilling, covering these cases, having a good time. Andrew said, I'm going to subscribe and like. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Every like, every subscription, all helps, guys. I want good people here. I try to make it a safe space where we can all just hang out, talk. What I do is true crime, and also I have psychic ability, and so I do remote viewing sessions. I don't know if you guys know what remote viewing sessions are for people just joining in, just your first time seeing me today. I haven't gone live much on this channel yet, so hopefully everyone is getting to know me a little bit, getting to know what I do. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I try to be an open book as much as possible. Sometimes people get it, so I kind of have to pull back a little bit, keep things close to my chest, which I don't like doing. I'd rather be an open book, talk to you guys, because I truly treat everyone like a friend, like, yeah, it's on the internet, but I'm a true believer that we are all one. So I try to spread love, positivity, and just do the best I can. Rabira said, I loved your content. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Appreciate that. John said, who's your favorite singer? Well, of all time, I gravitate towards hip hop. So my two favorite of all time is Eminem and Lil Wayne, but my current favorite artist is Lil Durk. So, but I also, my music range it varies, right? Some days I like Red Hot Chili Peppers, other days I like Lana Del Rey, other days I like Lil Wayne, Lil Durk, Kurt Cobain. So I like a little of everything. Whitney Houston, I don't discriminate, right? So I like all genres pretty much. I like and if you got a great voice, then I like that too. But yeah, there's a little bit about me for you guys. Frank said, how do you want to do the interview, record or live? We'll probably do it live. I like lives. So, are you free tomorrow, Frank? Let me know. We could do the interview tomorrow if you'd like. And do you have any how do you call it? Do you have any practice interviewing? Like, have you interviewed people before? I haven't checked out your page at all, so I don't know everything about it. So I'm just wondering. I've done a few interviews before, so I definitely don't mind doing them, and I actually like doing them. So if you're free tomorrow, we can schedule it tomorrow, and yeah, just let me know. Jerry said, you don't like spicy food. Well, sometimes it is what it is when it comes to that. But yeah, guys, so back to the Mackenzie Shirilla case. With the Ohio Supreme Court denying her request to have another trial, we're going to now have probably another interview come out. I would another interview come out of Mackenzie Shirilla in the near future. People are going to be contacting, asking, what do you feel about this? How do you feel? Sorry, guys. We lost you for a second. Let's see. Frank said, yes, I used to run a series just doing interviews. I am free. Cool. All right, cool. Then we'll schedule it for tomorrow. How does 11 a.m. Eastern sound? If that sounds good to you, I'll mark it down and we can get it done. Oops, hold on, guys. Don't want to mess the camera up. Let me mark this down. And any questions you have, feel free to ask during the interview. We can do that. Any questions you have about remote viewing, psychic ability, any cases. I've covered so many cases. And that's another thing I want to talk about. There's a case that I've covered on my other channel when I had it about Rebecca K. Park. Now, this case is absolutely gruesome, but I called it to a T. Now, people often wonder, is he psychic? Does he have those abilities? Well, you have to ask yourself this. How could I know how and what happened to Rebecca K. Park weeks before the details came out? There's absolutely no way I could have, unless I had those abilities. And I just watched a recent body cam. Basically, they were questioning Brad and questioning Rebecca's sister as well. So pretty interesting. But yeah, that's a case I covered. So check that out, Rebecca K. Park. That's a case out of Michigan. Absolutely gruesome case. But I called how and why and what happened to Rebecca weeks before it happened. Frank said 11 Eastern is 8 your time, I believe. Yes, I am interested in all that. All right, as long as that's good. I mean, we can make it a little bit later if you want, but if 11 works Eastern, then we'll do that. But yeah, always love doing interviews and stuff like that. I'm a people person, but it's interesting because in my normal life, like in my day-to-day life, I'm very quiet. I don't talk much. So the most I talk is when I do this. But yeah, so get some good questions going, and we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So another video I just put out, you guys got to check this out. I put out my remote viewing session on Elena Moore. Now, this is a case of a South Carolina woman who went missing. Now, she was missing for about a week. The last video footage shown her at a Planet Fitness because she was a personal trainer. And then she left. Well, a week later, her body was found very close to where she left. The results came back, and it's inconclusive of how she passed away. So I wanted to know what happened to Elena Moore. So I decided to do my remote viewing session. And you guys are going to have to check that out. Check that video out after this live. I think you guys will like it. It's pretty crazy what I was able to be shown. And I give all glory to God when it comes to my remote viewing sessions, when it comes to my psychic ability. And people often get that misconstrued. How can I be psychic, right? They ask, how can he be psychic and follow the Lord, right? It's simple. God gave me these abilities. So that's that, right? God wouldn't give you something to use in a positive way if he didn't intend that. And so that's what I do. And I believe everyone has a gift out there, and like I said in my other lives, some people search their whole lives trying to find out what that gift is or what they're meant to do, what their purpose is. It took me a long time to figure out my purpose, but now I'm walking in it. And once you start walking in your purpose, once you start realizing what you were meant to do, life becomes pretty amazing. And I'm human just like everyone else. I got bad days, good days too. But what I try to do is spread positivity, bring awareness to all these cases, and ultimately try to help in the best way I can to get justice. That's why I'm here, I want to get justice in all these cases. Because there are so many cases out there where they just get passed over and people forget about them. And it's sad, and that's another thing. I love working on cold cases. Cold cases, those are the type of cases that get me very interested and keep me interested, because I often wonder what happened to make this case go cold. What was looked over? What wasn't looked at? And usually if you ask yourself these questions, you'll be able to to figure it out. It's time to drink water, says Jerry. Right on cue. Let's go. Toast to that. Most hydrated man in the world, they say. One day I'm going to get that Poland Spring sponsorship, I tell you. I'm going to get it. If not, I'll get Fiji. Mark my words. Mark my words. Right on cue, right? Right on cue, guys. But so, we talk a little bit about the Mackenzie Shirilla situation in the case, how she's not going to get another trial at this moment, and probably won't ever, right? And the Elena Moore case, I'm going to leave that for you guys to watch in my most recent video after this live. I don't want to go too into it. However, I will state that I believe that this was a type of unaliving that was caused by ingesting something. And that's what I'm going to say on this live. Now, once you guys watch my video, you'll be like, okay, I totally get what he was saying and where he was coming from. Now, when I do my remote viewing sessions, I always try to target a specific either situation, a specific event or something like that in order to pull information from spirit. And in this case, in the Elena Moore case, I was able to get that information simply by visuals. And it's not always like that. Sometimes it sounds, smells. Somebody like me, and people will understand if they are out there with psychic abilities. Sometimes you can even be shown something, and in the vision, you're able to smell it. It's crazy. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, it can be sights, smells, sounds, all that stuff happens in remote viewing sessions. And I've trained for over 13 years at it. It's something that has kept my interest this whole time. And, I eventually realized this is what I was meant to do with my life. And, I'm going to stick to it. Let's see. Frank said, left a comment on your post from today, a link from my Discord so we can chat before going live. Talk to you soon. All right, Frank, I don't usually use Discord. However, we'll figure it out. Jerry, I have a YouTube channel. Is that good? Heck yeah. The more the merrier, guys. More YouTube channels, the better. So please like and subscribe. And, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Y'all are the best, I always say we got the best community in true crime. I stand on it. My old channel I took down because I gave too many people the privileges of being moderators, and there was no way to undo that without them commenting, from my understanding. I'm not good with all this technology stuff, so I had to scrap that channel, right? And it had over 1,000 subs, but to me, it's about quality rather than quantity, right? To me, yeah, subs are great, but all I want to do is spread awareness and help get justice for these cases. So the amount of subs, it's just a number to me, right? So, yeah. And I've always been good at reinventing. Always. You liking subbed already? I appreciate that. Appreciate that, guys. Every sub counts. But like I said, it's a number to me. The most important thing is getting justice, spreading awareness, and fighting for what is right in these cases. But yeah, for all you just joining in, if you haven't saw my most recent live, it's probably still uploading, maybe. So you'll be able to check that out after too. But yeah, so in the last live, I talked a lot about Nancy Guthrie. So I'm still keeping that case live. I'm still trying to do my best to spread awareness in that case. And I know in one of my videos, I said I stand with the streamers. And I don't want to bring too much attention to this because I think it was a heated moment. And I think the person was speaking off emotion. But, the guy Criminal Network, Alex, he made a post basically, well, not basically, he said F the Guthrie family in the post. And I can't stand by that. You know, I can stand by him streaming and the cops, you know, pressing him and what I felt like was unnecessary. But him posting that, it doesn't sit well with me. It really doesn't. I know why he did. I can read between the lines. But I think that sometimes things are better left unsaid. And that's not going to help him at all, because the Guthrie family has a lot of love. And though a lot of people think Tommaso or Annie may be involved, once you say that what Alex said, people are going to start to turn on you. And it's unfortunate, right? I don't wish bad on anybody. I want the best for everyone, as I've always stated. However, this is not a good look. And I don't think it's going to play out the way he wants it to. However, I still think that what law enforcement did to him is very unnecessary. Very unnecessary. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. But you guys can do your research and check that out. That basically just came out. And I'll leave it at that, right? I don't want to dive too deep into that. But yeah, Frank, we'll do the interview tomorrow. I'm excited for that. That's it. That'll be pretty interesting. Get your questions ready. And we'll chat before it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Mackenzie Shirilla situation, the Elena Moore case, and also I wanted to talk about the situation with the streamer, Criminal Network, Nancy Guthrie, and what he said. So we've covered that. So I'll probably hang out with you guys for another 10 minutes or so, just chit chat, you know, kick it with you guys, see what's up. But yeah, I got to spread that knowledge a little bit for you guys about these cases. And I thought it was a pretty big deal, the Ohio Supreme Court ruling about Mackenzie Shirilla. I'm very interested in the days that follow and what will happen with Elena Moore in that case. I'm very interested in that. If you guys haven't heard of that case, South Carolina woman Elena Moore went missing. You guys definitely have to check that out. It's very peculiar, and I think you guys will find it pretty interesting, the results that I got during my remote viewing session. And usually I post, just so you guys can get a kind of a vibe of how I do it, I post about 2 to 3 times a week on my videos, and then lives, they come sporadically. Maybe I'm going to start doing more lives now that I started my first one today. But basically I post a few times a week, and I'll also do a few lives a week. So, you know, you guys won't miss my beautiful face, you know. It's going to be around. So just playing a little bit, but yeah, so there's a little update on these cases, and if you guys have any questions about those cases, feel free to ask away, but we'll hang out and chit chat for the next few minutes. But I'm still hoping and praying that there's justice in each of these cases, in the Elena Moore case and in the Nancy Guthrie case. The Mackenzie Shirilla case is taking care of itself, as we can see. It's sad the way that it played out, but God has a reason for everything. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Even if sometimes we don't know the reason. And sometimes we might never find out the reason. But that guy upstairs, he knows the reason. He does. And if you guys ever are interested in any specific cases, let me know. I'll look into them, of course. Or if you have anything that's interesting you want me to take a look at, definitely let me know. Got an email too. That's zacjackson166@gmail.com. That's zacjackson166@gmail.com. So check that out. If you guys want to email me anything interesting, do it up. Any cases that are interested to you, let me know. And yeah, we'll go from there. So hopefully you guys like the update today. Tree said, can you explain remote viewing? Very good question. So in the interview that I'm going to do tomorrow, I'll explain it in depth a little bit more if you guys want. However, how I do it is I use a certain musical tone. And while I'm listening to that tone, I'm basically in a transcendental state, meditation like. And I'm able to connect with who I target or what I target. And then basically spirit or God, as one might say, allows me to connect with what I target. So let's say it's a specific person. Let's use Nancy Guthrie. Prime example. Spirit might show me something involving the case. But if I'm even more accurate or even more precise with what I want to target, let's say the event that occurred to kidnap Nancy Guthrie. If that's my specific target, I may get shown signs of how it happened, or I may get shown little clips, kind of. Sometimes it's sounds, right? Maybe a scream, or, those are just some examples. But that's basically how I do my remote viewing. I've been doing it for over 13 years now. Ever since I noticed that I had a gift is when I started to get interested in it. So I started to get interested and realize I was different around age 10. But I didn't start really encapsulating my gift until later on in life. I'm 31 now. And so I was around the age of 18 when I really started honing in on my psychic ability. So you can imagine from age 10 to 18, I was figuring it out, right? And it was very difficult for me to let people know that I had this gift, because a lot of times people look at people that say they have these gifts as crazy, insane. They don't know how to deal with somebody like that. And if somebody doesn't understand it, they reach for things that they also don't understand. So then it becomes this jambalaya thing, right? Where people just don't understand. But a lot of people do understand. So I'm always able to answer any questions you guys have, try to break it down a little bit for you guys, and allow you guys to kind of jump into my world a little bit. But yeah, so it took me a while to really hone in on my skills and on my gift itself. But just like anything, I had to practice. And, like anything in life, if you're given a gift and then you also practice, you're going to be very good at it. So, all glory to God, and hopefully you guys can be with me on my journey. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And tomorrow, check out the interview. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to set it up with Frank. So that'll be interesting. And look for it tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. So that's going to be interesting, guys. But yeah, when people reach out to do an interview, I accept. It's just the way I am. So that'll be great. And hopefully you guys look forward to that. I look forward to chatting with you guys and look forward to the interview tomorrow. So I'm going to wrap this up. Let's see. Tree said, that's cool. Thank you for answering. So can you connect with the... No problem, Tree. And yes, I am able to. I am able to connect with people that have passed on. Sometimes I'm able to connect with people who are still trying to cross over. And for example, with Nancy Guthrie, I believe she has already passed away. However, I don't think she has crossed over yet. And it has to do a lot with the truth not coming out to the public. Once the truth comes out, once people realize what actually happened, and all the games have stopped, I will say, she will be able to cross over. And for some people, it's a lot harder to cross over. Some people, it's an easy journey. Some people, it takes forever. But once you've passed away, time isn't like it is here. It's very different, very different. So I just want you guys to know that. But yes, I do like connecting with people that have passed on. Sometimes it can be a lot. And when I do my remote viewing sessions, usually I take approximately a week off in between, because connecting with people that have passed, or connecting with people that are involved in such brutal or heinous departures, can weigh a ton on a person, especially somebody like me who's extremely empathetic. It can be a lot. And that brings me to this. I'll say this before I hop off today. The Rebecca K. Park case out of Michigan. I watched a body cam footage of a guy named Brad, and who's at the time, I don't even want to call him her stepfather, but that's, I guess, the term we're going to use, Brad. And they also interviewed Rebecca's sister, Courtney. I mean, Rebecca's sister. And Rebecca's sister was talking about Courtney, who's Rebecca's mom. I know it's kind of crazy there, but once you guys look into that case, you'll understand. Courtney is Rebecca's mom, but they were interviewing her sister and her stepfather. Pretty interesting body cam footage, but that is the case that people really started to take note about my psychic ability, because I called what happened to Rebecca, and it's very heinous what ended up happening to her. But yeah, I called it weeks before it even was let out to the public. But I'm gonna wrap this one up here, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the little stream today, and on Elena Moore, I think you like that too. So tomorrow I'm gonna do that interview. Check out for it 11 a.m. Eastern, guys. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. And as the saying goes, without you guys, there'd be no me. I love you guys. It's Zach. Peace.